the CPA, or the US CPA, is a license to practice in the US. It really does not hold rights in India, as that's the purview of the Chartered Accountant of India. The US CPA is a license granted by one of the 55 US jurisdictions in the United States. And as such, when you apply for eligibility, you're applying for eligibility through one of those 55 jurisdictions. And essentially all that we do, whether it's with the AICPA, NASBA, or Prometric, excuse me, we're doing it on behalf of the boards of accountancy. As it was mentioned, the AICPA owns the exam. We develop and score the exam, and we return the results back to NASBA and the state boards. NASBA is the association of the boards of accountancy, and they also oversee the National Candidate Database and the Gateway system, as well as the international evaluation services and examination services. So all of your application and eligibility processing is done with NASBA. And then Prometric is our partner as well. They're a global provider of testing centers, secure testing centers throughout the world. And so we've been with Prometric since we went computerized in 2004, and we're with them because of their experience in the profession. So why would someone, consider the CPA? I've been with AICPA for 13 years now, and actually I am not a CPA, but I can tell you it's one of the better professions I've ever worked in. Everybody is so supportive. They're so supportive of other CPAs, and to me, it's a gateway to many different opportunities. We've heard in the past that it's a destination, and I think it's actually becoming more of a journey. Once you secure your CPA, there's so many different roles that you can in play, whether you're working for, a Big Four accounting firm or a major firm group accounting firm, or whether you're working for a small business looking to go public, or just a small business in the US, and that business needs, whether it needs audited financial statements or bank loans and the like, but clearly the CPA is a trusted partner to many businesses of all sizes. And I think just what we've seen is the CPA really gives you the opportunity to do so many different things. There's a big difference in the US and actually globally between someone who's an accountant versus someone who's a CPA, or even a chartered accountant for that matter. Having that CPA or having that chartered accountant shows that you've met the requirements for education, work experience. In most states, they have an ethics requirements. It means you've passed a very rigorous exam. You're actually licensed in the US as a CPA. I think in the US, we use the line that I think you're going to earn over $1 million more than if you were not a CPA. So clearly there's benefits financially to being a CPA. I'm not aware of any unemployed CPAs. I've never met one. So, they're pretty rare. So therefore it's providing job stability and security throughout your career. And because of the continuing education and the license and the ethics, I think it holds an esteemed impression within the various communities. So again, benefits of the US CPA licensure. I mentioned prestige and respect. They're definitely viewed as an elite group of professionals, largely due to the exam and the ethics requirements. It's definitely a competitive edge. And I'll go back to, I don't know of an unemployed CPA, but someone who has secured the CPA license is someone who has the breadth and depth of knowledge and has now has the experience to support the protection of the public interest and support business interests in many different ways. Career security is clearly a benefit in that whether you're on the tax side or the audit side, there's definitely many different avenues in which to pursue as a CPA. I mentioned before the thinking that it's more of a journey than a destination. And personally, I know a lot of CPAs that have changed their career, pathways over time as they've moved. maybe from Big Four or a major firm group to, a business that they're passionate about, or they've got specializations in financial audits or forensic accounting or cybersecurity and the like. So clearly having the CPA allows for various different options in your career. And then I also mentioned, obviously, you're going to make more. It may cost more to be a CPA than an accountant, but over the lifetime, it definitely pays for itself. And again, top roles for CPAs. And that's also one of the reasons why we are in India. Domestic volumes are fairly flat, as not only major firms have operations in India, and Henrietta and I have met with many of these companies to understand their needs and the growth opportunities for the exam in India. And that's why we're testing there, to make it a convenience for all the candidates that are working in India. So if you're working in India, clearly the major firms are clearly having operations and growing operations, not only in tax, but also in audit. And clearly there's a number of multinational companies, including IBM, Accenture, Oracle. I think Marriott could probably be on that list. And there's just so many different roles for CPAs in all of these companies. So I guess they like to say the world is your oyster. So clearly a lot of opportunities for CPAs in India. This is the base salary for an entry level CPA, so a little over 691,000 Indian rupees, and that's an average base salary. So again, pretty strong salary for CPAs in India, and that's with somewhere between, say, 0 to 3 years of experience. So what does today's CPA look like? One of the things that the CPA exam does, and one thing we make sure that it does, is over time, we always have to make sure that the exam is current to the profession. And we assess at about the 2-year level. So we're not testing if you're going to be a partner, and it's not a graduation test. It's about that 2-year level. But what we're finding is these newly licensed CPAs, and again, that's at the 2-year level, they're doing more complex work earlier in their career. It's required that they have deeper skill sets, more broader skill sets across more competencies, and they've got exposure to emerging technologies. Clearly, sustainability and cybersecurity and cryptocurrencies are on the forefront, and that's coming, and that's on our radar for the exam. So we always have to stay current with what the profession requires today, but we always have an eye out to what's coming down the pike and where the exam needs to go to protect the public interest, for that 2-year CPA.